Okay, so this review is for your quiz over 6.1 to 6.4. You can use this to study. Or just go back and hear the concepts again, or if there was one part of it that today's review that you want to go back and hear again. All right, so the first concept in on your quiz tomorrow is this whole idea of converting percents, decimals, and fractions. Now, here's basically my statement about showing work for this section. If you have to use your calculator to get to your answer, or if it's something that you would use your calculator for, meaning you cannot do it mental math, you have to show your work, okay? So now you might say, well, I know some of these repeating decimal fractions by heart. Can I just write it? My answer to that would be I still need to see your work because you have your calculator, so how do I know if you use your calculator, okay? So just show your work on any of them that would require some sort of division. That'll make more sense in a minute, all right, as we start working through these. So the first four problems, and it's the first three on your quiz tomorrow, it's 15 points of your quiz, is converting between a decimal and a fraction. All right, so 68%, you're going to write as a decimal. Write the percent as a decimal or the decimal as a percent. Go ahead and do these four problems, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so 68% as a decimal. What is it, guys? 0.68. 250% as a decimal. 2.5. 0.80 as a percent. 80%. And then 4.67. 467%. I'm going to give you one more. What if I had 0.4%? 0.4%. Go ahead and write that one down. 0.4%. Okay, so we get 0.004. Did you guys get that?
Yes.
All right, so we still move our decimal left even though there's already a decimal in our percentage. All right, number 5, 3/11. Now, this is kind of, at least the best way I can think to explain it. To write the fraction as a percentage or a decimal, I need to be able to write it out of 100. Well, can I divide 11 into 100 evenly? I can't. So my only other option to change it to a percentage is to do it long division, okay? Because my denominator does not evenly go into 100. All right, so I have 11, 3 divided by 11. Go ahead and do long division. How many decimal places do I need to go out?
3. 4. Yeah.
4 decimal places on all these, okay? Go ahead and work this out. So 11 goes into 30, 2 times 22 with 8 left over. Bring down my 0, 7. With 3 left over, this looks kind of like a what? Repeating decimal, but we still go out 4 decimal places. So we can say it's 0.27 repeating, or when I move my decimal to the right 2 places, it's 27.27 repeating percent. All right, did you guys get that?
Yes.
Okay, now let's look at the next 2. Well, the next 2, can my denominator go evenly into 100? It can. So now you have an alternate option to long division. You can still use long division. But because your denominator goes into 100 evenly, this will not be a repeating decimal. Okay? What could I multiply 2 by to get it to 100? 50. So if I multiply top and bottom by 50, all right, did my directions say change the fraction to a bigger fraction? Is that what it said? It said change the fraction to a what? A percentage. But anytime a value is over 100, it's out of 100%. Whatever the numerator is, that's my percentage. Remember when we talked about this the other day? If I say there's an 80% chance of rain, 80% out of what?
27.
Out of 100. Okay, so the numerator now, that's my percentage, 450%. Okay, what would that be as a decimal?
4.5.
4.5. Okay, So I want you to do the third one. Now, you might say, I know what 3/4 is, Miss Kinder. I know what that decimal value is. I know what the percentage is. Yes, but you have to show me, okay? That's one of two ways. You can do it long division, or you can multiply top and bottom by the value that will get the denominator to 100. All right, this is the part where you say, well, I know it. That is true, but you have to show on paper the proof that you did not just put it in your calculator, okay? So that's where we just need you to show the work. All right, what can I multiply 4 by to get to 100? What can I multiply? Yep, 25. So 3 times 25 is 75, which is true, 75% or 0.75. Yes, Gabe.
When we did 3 over 11,
Yep.
you know how you put 0.27 repeating?
Yes.
Can I have put 0.27 repeating? For the,
You could put it twice and then put the bar over all 4 numbers or something. I guess that would be okay.
okay.
All right. Okay. Percent proportion. I kind of hinted at this when I taught you this lesson, that sometimes it's ideal to use the proportion and sometimes it's ideal to use the percent equation. Here's my opinion on it. Okay. I give you 4 problems on your quiz tomorrow. I don't care what method you use. You have to show me the method though. So it has to be one of the methods. It can't be, your own special little method. Okay? Has to be one of the two. However, I like using the percent proportion when I'm solving for percent. And here's why. The percent proportion converts your percentage in the formula. You don't have to do that on your own, okay? And that's where we see mistakes happening. So that's just my personal opinion and preference, but take it for what it's worth. I think that it's a little easier. If you just hate the percent proportion, you can use the equation, okay? But for today, we're going to practice percent proportion on a problem where we're solving for percent. All right, can anybody tell me what is my formula for the percent proportion? Can anybody tell me? What is it, Isaiah?
A over W equals P over 100.
Very good. A over W equals P over 100. So now I need to figure out which value is A and which value is P. Which value is A and which one is P? Oh, I'm sorry. Which value is W? Yes, and I'm solving for P. All right, so go ahead and plug in your numbers. Okay, so which one's my A? Which one's my A? 20. Which one's my W? 50 equals P over 100. Technically, all right, so Miles just asked me a good question. You can use any one of your methods to solve this proportion. Okay, so 50 times what equals 100? 2. So 20 times 2 is 40. You could do that. However, if there's not a clear connection between the sides of the proportion that you know, it's not going to work. Okay, so cross products works every time. 50p equals 2,000, and then you get the 40%. Okay, either way, you're going to get the right answer. All right, there are multiple ways to solve a proportion. You can use any of the methods. So now let's do percent equation. 2 statements. What number is 36% of 85? And 120 is 125% of what number? Say that you use the percent equation on these because I feel that it's the easier method of the two when you're solving for A or when you're solving for W. This is just my personal preference. If you like the proportion to solve all of them, I'm fine with that. Or the equation to solve all of them. All right, so either method is going to get you to the answer. All right, but for today, for all of us together reviewing, we're going to use the percent equation. All right, just to keep reviewing both methods. What is the formula for percent equation? A equals P times W. A equals P times W. But before you can multiply, what do you have to do to your percent?
Change to a decimal.
Change it to a decimal. Sorry, I switched to the wrong slide. Give me a sec. Change it to a decimal. Sorry. Hit the wrong button. All right, percent equation. A equals P times W. Okay. A equals P. Wait, I thought it was 36%. Why did I write 0.36?
Because you have to change decimal.
I changed it to decimal times 85. Okay, and remember this A equals part is so important. You're showing me that you understand that you're solving for A. I have people that leave it off and they say, well, didn't you know that? Like, you know that. And I'm like, yes, I do know that, but I need you to still show me that you know it. Okay, I know it. Show me that you know it. All right, so what's 0.36 times 85? What's 0.36 times 85?
30.6.
Yep, and that's my A. Okay, so now solve the second one. Right, so 120, is that my A or my W on the second one? It's my A. What do I have to do to 125%? 1.25 W. Now what do I do to solve for W? And what'd you get? Let me ask you this. Is your answer reasonable?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because if you insert
Oh, because A is 100.
like
Oh.
put it there instead of W.
So
because it's
if,
4, it did 100.
yes, my percentage. So because my percentage is more than 100%, that means that 120 needs to be more than the total.
Right.
And it is, okay? So I know that it's reasonable, all right? That at least makes sense, that it would be, you know, close to 120, but not quite that value. All right, so that's percent equation. Now let's do increase and decrease. You have to know the formula. Guys, formulas are going to really be make or break for you on tomorrow's quiz. What is your formula for percent of change? Write it down on your papers. What's the formula for percent of change? Write it down on your papers. All right, guys, what's the formula? Yes, AOC over ORG. And what does that mean? That means the amount of change over the original amount. Now, with amount of change, I am simply subtracting the values. I'm just taking the difference between the values. I don't care which number comes first. I need to subtract my values from each other. So percent of change equals 75 minus 25.
Over 75.
How do you know it's over 75? Because that's the starting value. So now 50 divided by 75.
2/3.
Okay, as a decimal.
0.6 repeated.
Yes, 6 repeats. How many decimals do I go out?
4.
Okay, so 4 sixes. So the fourth 6 rounds the third one to 7. 66. I heard someone say thank you. 0.7%. It's approximate, so that's why I did the squigglies. Is it an increase or a decrease?
Decrease.
It is a decrease because from the original to the new, my values went down. Decrease. I want you to do the second one completely on your own. Now I've shown you one, kind of with a little more help. Now do the second one completely on your own. Give me the percentage and increase or decrease, whichever one it is. All right, are you ready? You ready? Did you do 78 minus 24?
Yes.
Divided by what?
24.
24. 24 was the starting value. Okay? So we get 54 over 24, which is 225%. Who got it? Who got it? Increase. That's a big increase. 24 to 78. Okay? Do you see? Questions? 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 Percent error. Percent error. You guys remember this problem? Okay. All right. So the error, the margin error allows me, okay, a little bit of wiggle room. So box A isn't quite 21 ounces, but does it fall within the error margin? Box B, again, is not 21 ounces, but does it fall within the margin? So I need a formula to figure out if these values are still okay. All right? Percent error equals what? The amount of error. The amount of error divided by what? The actual amount. Not necessarily the original, but how much should actually be in the package? The error over the actual. So how much are they off divided by how much is supposed to be there, or how, what the actual amount should be. All right, so here we go on box 1, box A. Percent error equals, how can I figure out how much it's off? I know how much it should be. I know how much is in there, so I can subtract them from each other. Here's what I did. This is how much should be there. This is how much I put in. So now I divide that by what? 21. How much should be in there? The actual amount. All right? 21 minus 20.4 gives me 0.6. I take the difference between what was supposed to be in there and what was actually put in there, and I divide it by the actual amount, 21. You are always going to get a really long decimal with these problems. How many decimal places do you need to go out? 4. Go ahead and do that and round it, and then you tell me yes or no, does it fall within the error margin? So did you get 0.0285? The 5 rounds the 8 to a what? 9. So this is 2.9%. No. That's outside of 2.5%. Okay? Now you do box B. Box B, I called it box 2, same thing. You calculate your percent error for box B. Now, I've shown you box A. You do box B for percent error. Okay, so what did you put in the numerator? 21 and a half minus 21. So the difference was 0.5. Did you have that up there? You're looking for, okay, what was the amount of the error between what was in there and what was supposed to be in there? Divided by what? 21. Did you get 0.0238? The 8 rounds the 3 to a 4. So it's 2.4%, which, yes, is barely within the margin. So we can let that one go through. Okay? That one is okay. I say yes. All right, so that's percent error. You have one problem on your quiz tomorrow. That's these percent proportion or percent equation problems. You can use whatever method you want. Again, all right, but here's the key. You have to be able to figure out from these problems, are you solving for A, W, or P? And then plug them into whichever method you want to use. So you cannot just show your own work in your own special way. Okay? You have to use one of the two methods. Go ahead and read the first one and see if you can plug it in. I don't care if it's equation or proportion. Which one did I say you should probably use when you're solving for percentage?
The one with the equal signs and the A equals P times W?
Nope.
Okay.
The one that already has it over 100, the proportion. Because if you're solving for P, it converts it for you. Okay? Now, you don't have to, but I'm gonna use the proportion. Okay? You can use the other one, but I'm going to use proportion anytime I'm solving for percent. All right, 280, is that my A or my W?
A.
W is my total. 280 is the total number of students. 112 is the part. Okay, so 112 over 280 equals P over 100. Sorry, my eye just started twitching out of nowhere. Sorry, guys. I got a little distracted there. Does that ever happen to you guys? Okay, so 112 over 280 equals P over 100. I'm going to do cross products. There's no clear connection between 280 and 100, okay? Or at least not a whole number. So 112 times 100 is 11,200 equals 280 P. What'd you get for P, guys? Did anybody get it? 40%. Good job. Who got it right? Who got it right? Good. Good. That's great. Okay, now, on the second one, do you guys need more time on the second one? All right, go ahead and finish up your second one. What are you solving for? And plug them in. Okay, 32 is your part or your total?
Total.
It is your total. That's how many problems you have been assigned. Aren't you glad that this person isn't your math teacher? Okay, 32. All right, so now 75%, that's your percentage. A equals P times W, 0.75. 32 goes in for W. Here's the thing though. This number is not how many problems you have left. This is how many problems you have already done. You've already done 75%. So how many do you have left?
You have 8 problems.
You have 8 problems left.
Drop it like it's hot.
Okay, now you could have said if I've already done 75%, that means I only have 25% left, and you still would have got the correct answer. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for your quiz tomorrow.